How's it going? Jackson here. Welcome back to Daily Endeavours for Saturday the 9th of August. As always, if you're looking for one endeavour in particular, I'll have timecodes in the description if you just want to fast forward to that one. Maybe you don't skip the stuff, you know how it is. So, 15 seal set, pretty good. There is a DLC option, but ESO Plus is still on a free trial, so there's no issues there. And doing the actual thing doesn't require much effort anyway. Well, you don't need to make effort anyway. So what I would probably choose is treasure chests, dual seams, and healing with scribe skills, and then this one's not too bad. I would avoid trivia matches. Just for me, it's just like I'm not a big fan of these, but this option's not bad either. So I will just discuss this one quickly. But I won't do a match because I kind of don't need to. No matter what happens, even if you lose, you still get this done. So as long as you queue for it and do it, that's all that matters. So to start them off, you need to find this guy, Ragus. You can find him in the southern side of Gonfalon Bay. This is in High Isle. So it's the way shown here is what you start with. So if you haven't been here before, you'll be able to get here pretty easily. It's just a load screen getting through the front door. And then once you've done that, you have to queue through the Tales of Tribute group finder. So unfortunately, it has to be through fighting players. Even though there are tribute players that you can just go and, like the NPC ones, you can play these guys. Just apparently it doesn't, as far as I remember, it does not work for this. So yeah, it's just shit. That's also another reason why I don't like this one. You have to rely on another player to be ready. It's nowhere near as bad as Battlegrounds though, because Battlegrounds you need to wait for multiple people. This one you just need one. That being said, the games do sometimes last significantly longer than a Battleground does. So my advice, if you do want to do this one, just queue for it now while you do the other stuff, and it should pop sometime before you get one of the other ones done, and then do the game. But just understand it can take a while sometimes. Alright, so next up we've got healing with scribed skills. So I need to point out that in the tooltip it doesn't say, but this is actually missing health. So you can't just use a healing scribed ability right now with full health and it just works. You have to do something to remove your own health. There's easy ways. There's a way to basically do this standing still as well. The first thing we need to heal, all you really need is Wield Soul with healing and either Sage's Remedy or Druid's Resurgence. The signature doesn't really matter. The Vitality Affix script is definitely the best one though, because that increases your healing done, so that just makes it quicker. But if you use Blood Altar as your health remover, as I'm about to talk about, probably use Druids. But Sage's Remedy if you're using the Nightblade one, which we'll also mention, so I'm going to be using that, so let's do this. The other option is Banner Bearer. This one I also like to use quite a bit. It doesn't matter here too much, but Restore Resources is good. The only one I would like really bother with in Focus Script if you got it, and then just whatever here. Preferably if you have Major Savagery and Prophecy for crit chance. But yeah, other than that, just whatever you can get. Ultimate Generation, whatever. Sage's Remedy is the important part. Sage's Remedy, this makes Banner Bearer heal you just constantly. So you can there is a way to just get a skill that takes away health, and you use this, and you can just sit there and just get yourself a coffee or like lunch or something, and your character will just heal automatically for this. But yeah, this one, you need to be high level in support skill, or just Alliance for. So this one might not be available to you. And Restore Resources, I think this is one of the ones you have to get through the Mage's Guild rewards, so not everyone might have access to this. But Wield Soul, having healing and Sage's Remedy especially, is like, all you have to do is swing with the Injurix. So it's like super duper easy to get to the stage where you can use this. It only takes like 30 minutes to an hour of doing the Scribing questline, and everybody's got access to this, even after the ESO trial ends. Alright, the other thing you need is something that takes away health. So there's a few good options here. If you have a Nightblade, basically max level, Siphon Attacks is my favorite option because it converts health into resources. So you use resources to heal, you use health to get your resources back, so it's just a symbiotic process. I love this one. If you don't have access to this, your other option is in the Guild Undaunted skill line. Blood Altar right here this costs health too. It just doesn't give you any resources back. That's why I say with Healing Soul, if you're using this, use Druid's Resurgence, because that gives you a bit of resources so that it takes longer for you to run out. You don't need to do much though. You probably won't run out of resources by the time you do this. You might though if you use Banner Bearer, because that actually reduces your... it uses up resources constantly. So yeah, sorry, the other one, Vampirism. This one's great, Blood Frenzy. This is the opposite of Banner Bearer, so this costs health every second, or 2 seconds. Banner Bearer gives you health every 2 seconds. So this and Banner Bearer mixed with a instant cast of both of them is just like excellent. So this is my setup. So I go Healing Soul, I use Siphoning Attacks, so these are the instant casts. Then for Vampirism I have Blood Frenzy, put that one over there, and then Alliance War Support, Banner Bearer with Sage as Remedy. And so I cast these two now. And then I start spamming Siphoning Attacks, and when my health gets low, I'll cast Healing Soul. And as you can see, our Endeavor is getting progress now. So yeah, only been a few minutes, we're already over halfway there, 3/4 of the way. So yeah, very quick to do this one if you can set yourself up well. But yeah, all you really need is like Healing Soul and Blood Altar. That's like super easy to get. If you don't have Blood Altar yet, you just need to be level 10. You go here to Rosy Lion from this way shine here. Where the Tribute player is, just again, playing this player won't give you the Endeavor for Tribute matches, unfortunately. The Orc female lady, like here, she has a quest for you. If you accept this quest, you unlock the Undaunted skill line. You don't actually have to complete the quest, you just have to start it. And then you can abandon the quest or do whatever you want with it. It's a very easy quest, but yeah, you don't have to do it from that point. Right. Next up, I'll talk about treasure chests. There's a few ways to get this done. One of the ways is to use Dolmens, because every dolmen that you complete will give you a chest at the end, and that counts. And these are instant, so no matter how many people are doing the dolmen, everybody gets their own sort of part of the chest that they can access. There's a couple of other places you can find this, but they're all like, I find them more complicated to do, whereas this one here, you can easily do this on your own, and the odds of you having to do it on your own is like pretty slim anyway. So the general gist of Dolmens is every time you kill an enemy, their soul will move into one of these pinions on the corners, and if enough of the data or the enemies go into the pinions with their souls, they will open up and you can deactivate the pinions. Once all 4 of the corner pinions are deactivated, the boss spawns near the front or the start of it, where the worm cultists always spawn. So there you go, that one opened up. Now we close it. This gives you resources back too. So if you're killing lots of enemies here and you're running low on resources, just activate a pinion if you haven't, and that'll give you everything back and you can keep fighting. Once all the enemies are dead, just activate all the pinions. The boss will spawn in about 10 seconds after that. They will drop right here. There'll be a few enemies that spawn here and over here, so my advice is put a couple of damage over time effects down, one over here and one over there, so it hits all the enemies at once. Because that way you'll get XP for all these enemies here. If you're still leveling champion points and all that, can be quite beneficial for you. So hit the pinion in the middle, and then a chest will spawn. You loot the chest, and that's one way. And so you just have to do another dolmen, and that's like a guaranteed way to get 2 chests easily. So the dolmens in Addon are pretty good to do. They're all close to Wayshine, and it's easy to access them, because start with this Wayshine by default, come up here, get this one. Use Barbed Hook Private In-Room through Home Tours, go over here, get this Wayshine, then travel a little bit north, go up here, and then you've got easy access to the first whole Wayshine too. Alika Desert is usually the other place where people go. This is like super duper busy usually. If you go in here and type, there's like invites you have to type, and people will usually put you into a group. You can travel to the group members when they go to each dolmen, and that way you can easily get the Wayshines that way too. But yeah, other than that, House of the Silent Magnifico to get here for the first time, this one. And then down here, get this Wayshine or this one. And then come up here, get this Wayshine, or you can go through the water. And then come over here, get this Wayshine, and again, easy access to all the dolmens in this zone. I also quite like Shadowfen, especially since the stats here are actually kind of decent. And in this case, you need this Wayshine, and then this one over here. And again, you could probably use where's the house? Is it Stay Moist? Ample Domicile. Sorry, this one over here. There's another house over here somewhere too. Yeah, Stay Moist Mansion. That's what I was thinking. So while you're looking for these chests, just keep an eye on where to find jewel seams. Just make sure before you actually do this one, maybe check that endeavor as well, because I'll go through what to look for these as well, because you'll probably see some of these on your way through if you're doing those. Especially if you're going to go unlock those Dolmens, you'll probably see some on the way through. Or if you're going to do this one here, which is using Treasure Map. So go into Guild Stores, Miscellaneous, Trophy, and go Treasure Map, and search, and you'll find heaps of treasure maps here. So for example, you go the Bankrai treasure map, and you go to Bankrai, and it'll be somewhere. There's a couple of ways to find it easily. Lost Treasure as an add-on is one great way, because what Lost Treasure will do is it'll just show up, it'll make it show up on the map. So right now I've got a Deadlands one, so that's it showing in the Deadlands one for me. It'll do the same thing for you. You could also just look up on your search browser, or like on your phone or something. Just look up the map, what its name is, and there'll be like sites that you can look up that show you where it is, if you don't want to look it up yourself. One last thing, with the treasure maps, I would advise looking through the trainee zones, because if you don't have like all the way shrines unlocked in the big zones, it could be a pain in the ass getting all the way through. Whereas the trainee zones, they're very small, so as soon as you get one way shrine, you've basically got access to the whole thing in like a matter of minutes. So the trainee zones are Srisvakai over here, Betnik, Kanathi's Roost, Balfoyen, and Bleakrock Isle over here. I find these to be the best. Artanium is also really good, because the area is also very small. Okay, another good way, I think, is to go through public dungeons. So, I've got this chest over here. I'll just unlock this one. So, public dungeons have a really dense, stacked group of chests that the spawns are like not connected to the ones in the Overland. You can find chests in the Overland too, but they're usually a lot more sparse compared to the ones in public dungeons. Like, these ones are fucking everywhere. So if I go filters, go to chests, yeah, you can see, like, there's all these different locations which will usually have a chest in them. Like, there's usually a couple up at a time. So, yeah, I usually, like, my preferred method for doing the treasure chest endeavors whenever they come up is this one, because there's so many chests in public dungeons usually. So I will link this in the description, as well as the indoor area for all the chest locations. I'm pretty sure I've marked every one. Let me know if I missed one. I'll do the same thing for Forgotten Crypts in Deshaan. I've got all the ones for Obsidian Scar as well, and I've got all the ones for, or almost all the ones for Brizak's Wheel, the public dungeon for Bankrai. So I'll link those in the description if you want to check them out. Okay, Jury Seams. So, please see the provided link in the description. This is a USP page that goes through the different types of jewelry seams that you can find and what to look for. So there's a 50-50 like split chance between two things that spawn your jewelry seams. So there is your jewelry crafting level. This passive here, whatever this says, that is half the chance to spawn, and then your current character's level. So when you look at this, these are the levels here that each type of jewelry dust spawns. So for example, if you're on a level 30 character, you could also get copper, and if you go to copper either here or here, it shows you an image of what that node looks like. So if you just check all these and know what to look for, every single node of that type looks exactly the same. So once you know what one piece of pewter looks like right here, you know what every single pewter node in the environment looks like. They all look like that. The same with platinum. That's the one we just saw, so that's what they all look like. So once you know that, it becomes, I think, a lot easier to find your jewelry nodes in the environment. Now, I need to make a point today. Normally, my advice is to go to Craglorn and check the shit out of everything, because Craglorn is, I personally think, the most valuable or lucrative zone in the game, because you can get Nirncrux from most of the resources that you find and mine and exploit here. But that's normally the case, because we have so many things like going on. We've got the weekly endeavor for harvesting from the world. We've got the Golden Pursuit for harvesting 250 resources from the world. Where is it? This one here. We've got the ESO Plus free trial, which means that people are going to try and spam the ones in Craglawn to just get as many resources in their craft bag as possible before it goes away. So you've just got all these different things. And you've also probably got other people trying to do this daily as well, trying to get these dual themes. So I think Craglawn is going to be more packed now than like probably any other time in the game. So this is probably the time where you don't, if you want to do this one decently quick, my advice is don't go to Craglawn, go to the other places. Things like Rift, Eastmarch, these like older zones, old large zones. The only one I don't like is Vardenfell, because I find the resources are actually quite spread out there. Same with Telvanni Peninsula, but some zones like Hrothgar, for example, is great. Western Skyrim is pretty good. You know, these like old big zones I find are good. Craglawn's normally really good, but yeah, it's just way too busy right now, I think. I'll see how I go. Oh, you know, if I can, as soon as I say that, I find another one. I'm telling you though, it's not. Don't expect that to be the common thing. So the other thing I should talk about is with blacksmithing ores, they share the same spawn. Unfortunately, blacksmithing ores don't count as jewel seams, even though sometimes you actually get jewel dust from them. It doesn't count, unfortunately. So it must be a jewelry dust seam. So that's a blacksmithing one. Another ore. Okay, there's a Peter seam. Perfect. That's 3. That's 4. Wow. I think I got pretty lucky with this, to be honest. Okay, that's 5. Yeah, it only took a few minutes. That's good. Yeah, if it's like prime time though, this place is fucking packed. It's not really prime time right now. The last thing I will mention is surveys. So I don't have any on me, but if you do crafting writs, which is, you know, something you want to do for the Golden Pursuit, and you want to do a survey anyway, right? So there's one here, and it gives you writ vouchers. So it's really good to do a survey. Even if it's your last one right now, I actually think it's well worth doing this. So surveys, you can only get these from, like the jewelry surveys you only get from doing jewelry writs. But no matter what level you are, as long as you do a writ, it's a 12.5% chance to get one. So yeah, just maybe do your jewelry crafting writ today and just see if you get one. And all it is just going to a certain area. There's 6 nodes that you get. For example, I think the jewelry one here is over here. And yeah, like it gives you 6 really high amount nodes. And these nodes count as well for the Endeavor. So that could be another easy way to do it. Yeah, normally I say hold on to them for other times, because surveys come up as endeavors too. But yeah, because I maybe only do that if it's if this hasn't been done yet. Okay, dealing damage with siege weapons. So this one's actually really easy to do, because it doesn't, even though it says to players guards or keeps, you don't fucking ignore that shit. You can damage anything with a health bar as long as it's like an enemy, and that includes like the enemy NPCs that you'll find in like towns and shit. So my suggestion here is to go to the shrines, the shivering, like the Sheergroth shrines that are littered all over the map. There's 3 in the safe zone. So what that means is these gates here, so long as these keeps are under your control, these gates are closed, so players can actually come through here, so they can't stop you from doing stuff. And the keeps themselves like won't impact how easily you can do this. So my advice is just, all you need is one of these locations and a siege weapon. So siege weapons, we get these from siege merchants. You can find one of these in all of the gates. Yeah, you can see the eastern and western Elsewhere gate. Same thing for Daggerfall. It's like over here there's one, over here there's one, and for these 2 there's one as well. So these guys here, they sell a bunch of siege weapons. The only thing I think you need is one 5-volt ballista. Once you got one of those, you're good to go. Now they cost a lot of gold here, but if you look in the like description of the item, the TTC, that's Tamriel Trade Center. So that's like an add-on So that explains like what's going on in guild stores. So you can actually buy these things really cheap in guild traders. And that is my suggestion. Maybe look through guild traders before you look at this first. Just make sure with guild traders you get the right alliance one. Because if, for example, I got a packed blister on this character who's Ordinary Dominion, I wouldn't be able to use it. So you just got to make sure you get the compatible siege weapon. Okay, now if possible, what you want to do is, so firstly, just make sure your siege weapons are in your quick slot bar. You want to select it. Now you want to make sure in your settings, go to gameplay, set quick cast to either off or on or automatic. I don't see a difference between automatic and on, but yeah, just make sure you do this so that you can like carefully place your siege weapon. If you can, place it on like an area that's like impossible for the AI to get to. So for example, this spot here. The reason for this is you don't want them coming over to you, you want them standing still. And the way to make them stand still is if they can't nav mesh to you. So you can see these Golden Saints over here, that's what I'm shooting at. So I'm just going to wait for them to group up a bit more. Going to shoot here with the firebolt. Hit a couple of them. And as you see on the bottom left there, that's it. I'm already done. Just one shot with the ballista. Now the reason I do this, like the reason I don't just shoot them more, is because I don't want to kill these things. Because if they die, it takes 5 minutes to respawn. On the off chance that another player is going to come through and do this, I kind of inconvenience them by doing that. So what I want to do instead is just let these things reset. They'll get all their health back, and another player can just do the same thing. Who knows if the player's just going to kill them, but yeah, give them a chance at least to do the right thing. So yeah, after a while, yeah, as you can see, they've reset. So their health bars have, if I go back up to them, it'll show that their health bar is back to full. There you can see, they're all healthy again. So yeah, you can do this at resources as well. You can just go up to enemy resources and shoot the guards, but usually it's a pain in the ass because most of the time the resources are enemy keeps and you have to go right out. Whereas this, it's just like, it's always pretty quick to get to these locations. So yeah, that's the only real time I ever do siege damage stuff. It's just with the Shivering Shrines. But yeah, there's another one out here, pretty quick to get to. Yeah, you can see a couple in, like they're littered all over the map. And there's ones that are usually very like easy to get to in your side of territory. Just maybe if you go through some of these campaigns and they're just one-sided, like one faction owns everything, maybe just keep checking through the campaigns and check alliance lock, because this is usually the one with the most competition. So this is the one where it's like usually the most active. But yeah, sometimes, especially just after the PvP event, shit's going to probably be slow right now. So yeah, I don't know how well this one's going to work, but you've got other options today that are good anyway. Alright, Golden Vendor. It's Saturday. So, Velodreth and Vicosa are the monster sets. It's shoulders, though. You know how I feel about shoulders. I don't think they're worth buying for 100,000 gold each, because you can get these regardless of your DLC. I mean, it is ESO free trial anyway, right? So, but yeah, these are available just with keys in base game, because you can just purchase them from, what's the name? The Orc, Undaunted Person, regardless of the DLCs you own. Whereas the helms, you want to save up for those, because if you don't have the DLCs for those, you can't access them. Anyway, so Velodreth is a pretty good set. Used to be one of the best DPS sets in the game. It's okay. Really good mostly for like if there's a couple of enemies, because the spores, I don't think you can hit. I think they hit one target and then like the spores can't hit the same target twice. But if there's multiple enemies in front of you in a small area, it'll hit all of them. So it's like really good for small cleave. And just in general, it's just a really good set. You've got weapon and spell damage for the one piece, which is good, reliable. And then, yeah, it's pretty good. It procs pretty often. It does quite a bit of damage. And yeah, it's a solid set. But again, wouldn't buy this for gold. Just buy it with keys. Vicosa. This is okay. It used to be way better when Major Cowardice is more rare, because yeah, back in the day when it came out about Sunspire-ish times, it was really good for that, because when the dragons would breathe fire, people would use this to like reduce the damage a bit. But people started like learning the roll dodge strategy with dragons, so I think that sort of you can survive it a lot easier now. And the main issue with Vicosa, right? So it's got an 8-second uptime and it's got a 15-second cooldown. If you look at a skill for Nightblades in the Shadow skill line called Aspect of Terror, you've got Major Cowardice for 12 seconds, and there is no cooldown for this. So if you want this buff or debuff, just either bring a Nightblade, or Necromancers also have the same thing in, I think it's Bone Totem. Yeah, see? So you get the same thing here. And again, it's got a duration of 11 seconds, and you can recast this as many times as you want. So there is fundamentally no reason you should ever run this set when you can run like a skill which like sacrifices less than running wasting a whole monster set, when there's some way more powerful monster sets in the game. So yeah, just would not ever use this set anymore, just because like it's so much easier to get this buff in other ways, and they're more reliable and less sacrificial ways. Like you lose less if you use those options there. Okay, so Blood Moon. This is one of the most interesting sets in the game, I think, because it's one of the I think it's like the only case now, unless I'm missing something with one of the other new sets I know, but attack speed increase. So yeah, you literally increase the speed of your light attacks and shit. This used to be really like redonkulously powerful on a werewolf build. They used to run like really high numbers. They nerfed something about it, I can't quite remember, and then it just turned to shit. The uptime is the biggest problem. You're getting what is basically because yeah, it's 8 seconds, so you get what, like 7-ish light attacks, or maybe 6, because it's only 50% increased speed. It's not doubled. So, and then it's down for every other 15 seconds. So, like, comparing this to a proc set, like, how would this... It's single target. Like, you can only hit one target at a time unless you get, like, things that make your light attacks do cleave damage. Very, very, yeah, sort of shoehorned into certain things in that case. Whereas, like, you can just use a bunch of proc sets that can do the same thing, but they have, like, less intrusive issues. I think this used to be way better, but nowadays it's just okay. The only interesting thing about this one, though, is the interaction it has with just like a fun build. It's not serious at all, but using this with Threads of War, if you use if you want to use like basically do a monk build, you can go unarmed, so you can just use fists. Your fists do physical damage. And so when you light attack with your fists, with Threads of War, you'll proc Sundered. And if you use Blood Moon with this, you can like punch really fast. So you can just apply Sundered a shit ton of times in a small succession. And yeah, interesting. But like, because when you don't have any primary weapons, your spell and weapon damage is like significantly lower. It's not that great of an option, but it is something interesting. You can definitely just go through Overland and just have a blast doing that. But yeah, not a set I would personally buy here. Flame Blossom, on the other hand, there are very few instances where there's like a set that I would be interested in. The only problem is, anytime you want to buy necklaces like this, like why would you do this when... Because, okay, it's like a catch-22 rule, right? If you own the DLC, just do the dungeon. If you don't own the DLC, you can only get the jewelry and the rings. So you need to do the dungeon anyway to get the rest of the set. So yeah, but Flame Blossom is this is like whack. It does a shit. So the bigger the target, the better it is, and it has a weird interaction with a set called Elfbane. So for some reason, this unless they've like changed it in the near future, in the near past, this counts as a damage of a time effect, even though it's instant damage. So it has like a weird interaction with Elfbane where it makes it apply more times than usual on like big targets. So you can have this apply a bunch of times, really like do shit tons way more damage to like really big targets. And in that case, it can be like meta in some cases. I don't know about now, but it definitely was when I last heard about it. So that's just an interesting thing. So if you can line those two sets up together, it might be interesting. But other than that, it's just like a specific thing, and it's not like... It's good in most cases as well, but like not perfect. The only issue I think is offensive pen. It's like sometimes that can be a detriment if like I think if other builds are running like things without offensive pen, so it's like weird trying to optimize everybody at the same time if someone's got offensive pen and a bunch don't. But that being said, you could probably just change around some champion points or something. Probably, I don't know. Yeah, Flame Blossom's pretty interesting. Another one of the, like Blood Moon, it's like a very intriguing set that does some weird stuff. Smugglers, I don't think you should ever run this set unless you want like the specific 2 to 4 piece with it, because a set called Adept Rider exists, which, yeah, I'll be honest, gives you armor and max health, which is different, but this just gives you Major Expedition all the time, and also gives you Major Gallop if you don't have that buff, though that's easy to get. But yeah, Major Expedition all the time, and you don't need to shoehorn yourself into trying to chug potions as quick as possible, because in this case, 30 seconds, normally your potion uptime is... Its cooldown is 45 seconds naturally. You can get it down with enchants, but again, you're just shoehorning your build into something, whereas with Adept Rider, you can just use that and not have to worry. And Adept Rider is also crafted, whereas Smuggler, I believe this comes from some... Oh no, it's Reaper's March. That's not too bad. But yeah, it's not a great set when you can literally just craft Adept Rider at 3 traits. It's like really easy to get, especially since even if you don't own Somerset, you can just go to a guild hall and craft this anyway. And then probably one of the funniest sets in the game. I'm not going to say the... Yeah, I'm just going to call it Vanus, because I'm pretty sure if you say the full set name, you can get in trouble. You just read it yourself and you'll see why. Weird, and I don't think fits into any role well, because you think about it with the rest of the stuff, right? Increases the duration of the thing. Like Resto already gets Major Mending when they heavy attack naturally, so this just buffs the duration. But there's like usually burst healing allies is just like not a thing you need to prolong. And yeah, like heavy attacks with Resistance are pretty quick. Same with dual wield and like physical melee weapons. But the problem I have with this is like trying to think of times where heavy attacking for Major Mending is like going to work well, because you think in PvP, like if you heavy attack a player, they're going to block it, and you're just going to get stunned. And if you're trying to get such a powerful buff just from heavy attacking, like if you need that, the odds are like it's not going to come out quick enough where it's going to help, because you're in PvP, it's like a time where you're getting your absolute shit kicked in by someone. They're like going full burst. You have to turn around and try and heavy attack them just to get Major Mending to increase your healing a bunch. Doing that is not really going to be reliable, because yeah, that's a lot of, like, a second is a lot of time in PvP, like for a charge heavy attack. So yeah, just not something I would rely on myself. And then in other cases, it's just like for 5 seconds, whereas there are some classes just get it naturally. Like for example, Wardens. Accelerated growth gives you this for a short time, mind you, but at 2 points it's 4 seconds, so it's basically the same thing, and you don't have to waste a whole set for this. And then there are other ways. DKs also get the same thing. So if we go Dragonite to Earthen Heart, the Obsidian Shield, this also gives you Major Mending too, and you can get it for 6.5 seconds with Fragmented Shield. So that's like redonkulous. Like I feel like you just go these instead of going this whole set just for something so simple. I just don't see a reason. I'm sure there's like niche applications where it's really good, but in most cases, like you don't really need that buff, and if you need it, you'll probably just run something like that. All right, that's it for today's endeavors. I'll be running down now to smash out the rest of the Gone Pursuit stuff. So, any questions? Just give me a holler. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time. Take care for now.